Good morning everybody, welcome to my third rough and ready video about the lost grounds of Colwyn Bay Football Club, and also welcome to Mochdre, a township or village of some 2,000 people just to the west of Colwyn Bay along this road, which is the Conway Road. And that building there, which opened in October 1960 as the J.K. Smit & Son Factory, behind it is the site of Colwyn Bay's 8th football ground, the Mochdre Field. In effect, after the war, Colwyn Bay Football Club had to begin all over again as an amateur team, basically playing in the field, playing in a field in the middle of nowhere, having been forced to vacate a 7,500 capacity football ground in 1938 due to the actions of the local council then and the local education authority. These days such a thing wouldn't be allowed to happen, would it? Local councils now, if they forced a football team to vacate, and most certainly to vacate a 7,500 capacity football ground, would at the very least give them money and probably help them to build a just as good, if not better, replacement stadium. But sadly not them. The Mochdre Field was described as being off Station Road in Mochdre, behind the first cul-de-sac. So we'll take a walk down there first. It's that road there. We just do a left down there. We've just come from there. Here we are at the first cul-de-sac, Station Road. Carry on there over that bridge, takes you over the railway and the A55 expressway to Purdow, Llangostennyn, even back to Colwyn Bay. The ground was described as being behind this Station Road cul-de-sac. I'm not going to go down there because once again it's extremely early on a Sunday morning and I don't want to disturb any of the residents who are no doubt having a lie-in. So we'll go back up there and we'll go back round the other side of the J.K. Smit Factory. I'm going to put up a rare photograph of the club's time here at Mochdre. We know it's Mochdre because the pitch was behind this building here, and over there behind that vegetation is Singleton Crescent. Well, none of that nor this existed when the football club were playing here, so we can quite clearly see Singleton Crescent there in the background. I didn't know it was called Blackmarsh Road. We live and learn, innit? There's the back of the old J.K. Smit Factory. This is kind of roughly the site of the football ground. I think it used to go east to west. So it's roughly this area here and here. All now part of the Mochdre industrial estate. Once again, I'm kind of finding it difficult to imagine a football pitch here. There's the back of the Station Road cul-de-sac over there. You probably can't make it out. But this is the site of the football field. The club had its best season here in Mochdre. 1945-46, finished second in the Welsh League North. Same number of points as the top team, HMS Glendower. But Colwyn Bay had played one game less due to the resignation of the 5th Cheshires from the league. Post-war, so there were quite a number of military teams in the Welsh League North then, through to the mid-50s. There were a number of camps in North Wales. Anyway, Colwyn Bay offered to play HMS Glendower in a playoff to decide who would be champions of the league. HMS Glendower declined that invitation, stating they didn't have enough players. And so, just like the 1929-30 season, some felt that Colwyn Bay had been robbed of a league championship win, when a similar thing happened by the end of February 1948. It was announced that Colwyn Bay Football Club would be moving to a new football ground back in Eirias Park. Once again, Johnny Neal was involved with all these events. There really should be a statue to that man in the town of Colwyn Bay for everything he did, not only for the football ground, but for the town, in his capacity as recreation, entertainments manager. There's actually a vineyard round here somewhere. I can't remember where now. I'll put up a map now from around 1953. You can see the football ground or field there. I think the field remained here until at least the early 60s, as there was a Mochdre football club playing on it, but they appear to possibly have folded in the early 1960s. It's not clear. Needs more research. But I'll try and superimpose where I think the football field was. Though some older supporters who were around then have told me that they think the pitch, from roughly going east to west, goal to goal, at some point was moved kind of going north to south, goal to goal. But it's not clear when that happened. Ooh, sun's come out. So football club field was over there, behind the J.K. Smit building. There's Singleton, Crescent. Singleton, Crescent. Any view of it now blocked. The 1947-8 season was Colwyn Bay Football Club's last season here in Mochdre, and they began the 1948-49 season at Eirias Park football ground, now the site of the barn next to Eirias Park Arena. The last time the club played at Eirias Park was a decade earlier, 1938. They played over there at what was then called the County School football ground. The football ground, which I do remember myself as a young man, I'd say was a good 20 feet below where the barn is now. But the barn here is more or less on the same footprint that the football ground was. I don't know if that was by design or just coincidence. The only difference, I think, was that the football ground was kind of tucked in a little bit more to the southeast corner of the arena and at more of an angle, which you'll see in photographs in a minute. It was originally called the Afon Llwyd football ground because next to the football ground then was, I remember it as a rather steep dingle that we used to slide down on tin trays and bits of cardboard when we were school kids. So I'll put some photographs up now. First of all, one I put up in the previous video, late 1930s, which just the top corner there gives us a view of this area where the barn is now. You can see that some quite significant development had to happen to turn that area into a football ground. The club played its first game here at the Eirias Park football ground on the 25th of September 1948, and the club played here until the 26th of February 1983, when it was forced to move because the area was being used to dump waste soil from the construction of the A55 expressway. The next photograph I'm going to put up is a poor quality, high altitude RAF reconnaissance photograph from 1957. It shows us there the football ground next to the arena that had been constructed some 3 years earlier. And next I'll put up a Google Maps photograph from today, and I think from those you can see that the barn is more or less on the same footprint, or was constructed on the same footprint as the old football ground, albeit some 3 metres plus or 20 feet plus above where the football ground was. At the 1950 club AGM, then club president Colonel Ralph Tucker stated that the ground here wasn't fit to stage a decent cup tie. That's because twice the football club attempted to have changing rooms built by the football ground, but the council refused them permission to do that in 1948 and 49, and in the end, by July 1951, the council themselves built them. In those days, clubs like Colwyn Bay would hope to get through a few rounds of the Welsh Cup and then maybe draw a team like Wrexham here, and that would make them their money for the season. But back in 1950, this was basically just a field, no changing rooms, no stand. You can just see the top of the barn there, and if we swing around, there you can see the fire station that the club weren't allowed to use as a changing facility, even though they asked the fire service if they could use it back in 1948. So they had to use the laundry, which is up there. Said in the local press at the time to have been 1/4 of a mile away. I don't think it is, but I've just walked from the laundry building up there to over there where those white bags are, which is roughly where the ground would start. And it took me, walking at a reasonable pace, 4 minutes 10 seconds. So for a team of say 15 people, the football team, the kit man, the sponge man, etc., stragglers would be among them, no doubt, possibly even having to wear football boots. I think it would have taken them a good 5 minutes for the lot of them to walk down here. So no wonder then, at half time, they had no alternative up until the beginning of the 1951-52 season to mull about on the pitch at half time, because by the time they'd walked up from here to the laundry over there, it would have been time to come back probably. 1951 July, the local council did at long last construct a changing room at taxpayers' expense, and let's not forget the football club had offered to build at their own expense twice, but were refused. Around over there where those bushes are, it got demolished around 2011 following a tragic incident there where 2 young people lost their lives, sadly. So we'll take a look on the road to see how far the players had to walk back to the changing rooms. Barn over there, and the laundry is over there. Laundry. I hope we can see the barn, which is over there, you can see, hopefully. There's the Eirias Park gates. That's the laundry building there now. It's been the Honda Centre for many a year now. and between 1948 until 1951, 3 years, the players either had to walk from there to right over there to play a game of football, or get a lift in the back of one of committee man's Griff T. Roberts's chaplain's removals vans, which I'm sure was a barrel of laughs. During its 3 years using the Colwyn Bay Laundry as its temporary dressing room facility, the height of luxury was reached when a bath was placed in one of the changing rooms, which were then located here in the courtyard of the laundry in temporary buildings. The only problem the club had then was that the bath needed filling with hot water by buckets, and of course, as ever, supporters volunteered to carry out this task along with a couple of club officials. In fact, throughout the club's time here, from 1948, repeated attempts were made to upgrade the ground, and all were refused by the local council, because it was, in fact, this area was basically an open public park. There used to be a public right of way. I don't know if that's been removed now, or maybe this, where I'm standing now, this side of the fence is the public right of way. The club did have some prominent people involved with it back in the 50s, and they did on occasion make the effort to push on and win the league title. Many people used to question why a town the size of Colwyn Bay didn't have a football team in the Cheshire League, which was then a very good, strong league. Well, that goes back to before the war, when the football club lost its excellent county school ground in 1938. But you've heard me going on about that already. So we'll leave that one there. In August 1954, the club did make a major push for success by signing on Llandudno-born and ex-Everton centre-half John, known as Jack, Humphreys. Some good players were signed on by Jack, but sadly, within 5 or 6 weeks of him being appointed the Colwyn Bay player manager, he passed away tragically at the young age of 34. And I think it took the club a few years then to recover from that particular tragedy. The team, following Jack's death, didn't start the season well. Gates dropped, players had to be released, or the paid professional players had to be released. Young amateurs bought in, and the club ended the season 54-5, making a loss, which then affected it for a few years. And I'm going to end this video here now, looking at the Eirias Park ground, because I am aware it's going on for quite a long time. I'll pick up the rest of the story in the next video, and the club's move to its next ground. So once again, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.